down in some quiet corner of the park. The rapey Drake gang have hunkered down, sobered up. They no longer sip the gin clear daily. And with their newfound clarity, they've decided to no longer be a bunch of rapey ducks. They've decided to go anti-natalist after seeing how the little cadre ducklings of the Ducktopian dawn have been treated. They've fallen into a dark depression. They've lost all their desire to go on a rapey bender. And now they just snooze their days away in a sombre, rapeless spring. Fair enough. I don't know if YouTube's going to allow that, too much rapey duck dialogue. So I hope none of you have been through anything like that. I just, having been through massive trauma, you understand like that people get triggered by things. Even if it is in jest, it doesn't even really matter. But yeah, the anti-natalist thing, it's not really something I talk about, but definitely a lot more people talking about it nowadays. And I can see why. But there's all sorts of good people. I know a few good people that are still having kids. I'm not sure why. It's not really an appropriate thing to ask them, is it? What about you guys? Never seen you guys having any ducklings. Are you a bunch of MGTOW ducks? I think you're all men and women, aren't you? Do they new to you guys? Maybe they castrate the pet ducks before they dump them at the park. I don't know. Pretty happy they did dump you guys here though, because you're good company. These two little scalp ducks at the back. It's one of the remaining joys of this world, seeing an excited duck running up with his wings flapping. It's pretty cool. This black duck here, he's not the maniac the boss of the park, black duck. He's kind of comical though. He gets all like wily when the others try to eat his seed. He gets all upset. It's pretty funny. There's a cool pigeon over there. I was filming the pigeons for my friend who's from Palestine, I think that's where he's from, and he is very outspoken. He's a targeted individual, and he sadly lost all his pigeons due to the amount of like microwaves he was getting cooked with. And yeah, he showed me a video of his pigeons flying around the city. It was quite a cool montage video with some music. It was beautiful, and yeah, so I film the pigeons for him sometimes. I could really resonate with him because we shared the same abuses without putting it any. I can't really put it any more directly if I want to keep my channel. Alright duckies, I'm going on my walk. Oh, sorry duck. Cute little bastards. It's like bird feeder man's Praetorian Guard or whatever they call them. I'm always a little bit wary about, just talking about creativity so flippantly, because we'll always be gaslighted and called like crazy artists and all the rest of it, but lots of people have their work stolen. I don't even think it matters if you put it on the internet or not. If they can like hack your brain, then pretty much no intellectual property is safe anymore. And so I would wonder every time I'd see a movie, I was like, oh, I wonder who really wrote that, or a book. At least they probably couldn't steal your painting because they need to have the ability to do it, to paint it, otherwise they're clearly a fraud. But I think even one of the subscribers, I shouldn't call them mine, but one of the subscribers to my channel may have been through some of what I'm talking about. I think he was a writer. Yeah, it's all gets very demoralising, really, to think you could work on a book or something and people would just steal it. I asked on a writing group actually on Facebook about whether it was possible to incrementally copyright work so that as some sort of deterrent from things getting stolen, and there's not. They just laughed at me and they're like, oh, they give you the usual oh, why would they do that? That wouldn't happen. Like, the hard part is in completing the book, and it's like, well, what's to stop them just stealing it then? Steal it and then delete all the evidence off your computer. Oh shit. You're trying to delete all the evidence off my brain, aren't you, by inducing another concussion? Come on, Lord Black Paradise, take it easy. Here's a sip of his gin clear and off he goes. To patrol the moat of his great estate. So yeah, I've made a couple of videos actually just talking about writers who never found, they struggled. They did find the motivation to complete their work, but it was this big struggle to stay motivated. And it was actually at a time that's pretty much like now, you know, on the rise of I don't know what you call it, socialism, communism, like diabolicalness rising. But it was like just at the start of the Soviet Union. There was Dovlatov and Mikhail Bulgakov, and like both of them didn't see, I don't think they lived long enough to see their work actually be published, let alone become popular, because they didn't get published till like 20 years after, I think it was after they wrote it, or was it 20 years after it couldn't have been 20 years after the Soviet Union collapsed, but I don't know. Anyway, especially Dovlatov, he died quite young, as many tortured artists or stressed out artists tend to do. The movie about him was on Netflix the other night. Well, I watched it on Netflix the other night. I don't watch much TV, but the occasional movie is a nice wee escape. And yeah, Dovlatov was just like, why do I bother? It's hopeless. Yeah, in the movie, well, in real life, he wasn't able to join the writers' union, so there was no way to get published. You know, he couldn't self-publish like we can now. And they kept trying all sorts of tricks to get him to, you know, to submit and just write a bunch of bullshit, basically. Like they tried to they sent a beautiful woman over to try to seduce him, and he called out the bullshit and saw it for what it was, told them to get lost. I don't know if I'll post the other videos about those two writers if you're interested. I don't know. But Bulgakov, he wrote a book called The Heart of the Dog, which is quite a funny one. And Master and Margarita, I think that's his most famous one. I think he wrote that one after he got... he kind of upset Stalin, which he was writing like a play about Stalin, I think, and Stalin didn't like it. So it didn't go ahead, and then mysteriously he had bad health issues after that and spiraled, and I think he got on the heroin, I think it was, and apparently the manuscript for Master and Margarita was stained with it. Yeah, the problem with those foreign books is trying to find a good translation to buy as well, because the translations, some of them are apparently terrible. I do wonder about books. I think maybe those in power, they are a bit concerned, because like it's kind of harder to censor a book than it is to censor internet. I'm not sure. Maybe like books can have more of a profound effect. I don't know. Just rambling. Just trying to pick up the string. Yeah, like I mean, an algorithm can obviously try to suppress a book, but if you get a few big YouTube channels like promoting it, it's possible it would blow up and like loads of people would read it. If it was like, you know, the modern version of like a 1984 or something. So I can kind of see like the powers that be like nipping that in the bud before it happens. You know, if you were working on, say, music or writing, I can see why they would like neuroweapon people and like nip it in the bud before they could finish writing it. I know we'll get accused of like, you know, we're the narcissist, we're grandiose, we think we're important, and we're not, you know. Because that's what tends to happen when you get abused. It flips, and it's like, you're the creep, you know, you're the abuser, you're the one who thinks they're special. Hey Ducky, I'm sorry, I shouldn't be ignoring you. So yeah, I don't know, in my instance, I'm not sure if that was why I was targeted. I was writing a book called Yamad's Gulag. Oh, hey. You guys see that? You might pop up on my pack again. Anyway, here's me. I did my hair today, so you know, gave it a bit of a wet down so I don't look as fucking grey as I normally do. It's quite cool. This duck landed on my my shoulder. He's a friendly one. Let's see if he'll hop up there again. So I don't know if this is the same duckling that I fed a few months ago. It might be the same one because he's really friendly. Hey Ducky. Alright, we'll get you a little bit of food. Sorry, I don't mean to turn you into a little circus bear. Oh yeah, you guys might have seen I changed my channel name to like Project Bird Feeder Man. That was because I realised just how triggered people get by like the NPC thing, and you know, when you've been, you know, you've suffered at the hands of these organic portal types, whatever you want to call them. And so I don't want to trigger anyone else who may see my username, so I changed it. But yeah, I'd meant it in the sense of I don't want to play this game anymore. That's why I was an NPC, because I just hang out in the park every day like a scripted character. I don't know where their mothers are. I think there's a few of them about. So I didn't manage to see the one from yesterday. the duckling in full-blown Elias mode, like in the movie Platoon, running down the footpath, and all the zombies laughed. It's pretty sad. So if you're really sensitive to duckling stories, duckling tragedies, maybe mute the next 30 seconds of this. But so this duck here, I think, possibly both of them, I think they're brothers and sisters, or maybe they're both sisters, I don't know. I think that one looks male actually, but they had a family they were part of a family of 10. There were 10 ducklings, and there were actually 2 mother ducks for some reason, and then they would lose one, but every 3 or 4 days they would lose a duckling, and they got down to about 5, and this was in autumn. They were like unseasonably late, and a falcon arrived in the park, like a New Zealand falcon. They're crazy, like birds of prey that can fly like, I think it's like 200k an hour when they're dive bombing, and they're very rare. Well, I think there's about 3 to 5,000 of them in New Zealand, but normally they'll be in the backcountry, beech forests and things, or maybe out in like the rural sort of countryside. So I don't know how it got to the park, but it ended up taking out 3 more ducklings. I even saw like a photo of someone had taken of a duckling and the falcon. Hey, is he standing on him? Buddy, come over here. Yeah, so in the end there were just these 2. You survived, didn't you, my friend? Oh, you're a special duck. See, some of the humans say, what is it? Treat him mean, keep him keen. But I think the animals don't play that game. It's like, if you treat them right, you know, they like you. They trust you. I don't know where the mother of these 2 are. So it's nice and quiet today. Far more quiet than the weekend. So it's actually Tuesday, isn't it? Like, I'm not sure why it was so busy yesterday. What do you think, buddy? Do you want to go to Fiordland with me? Do you want to jump in my van and we'll go on a big road trip together? I used to post like little stories on Facebook, and I used to get like, you know, half a dozen or a dozen likes, and when I was posting the light-hearted stories, and then like when I went through the targeting and I started posting about that, inevitably like the likes trickled down, they like turned off pretty much. I used to get the occasional sort of sympathy like or whatever, because, you know, the normies know that PTSD is a tough thing to go through, if it even was that, or if it was current traumatic stress or whatever, I don't know. But yeah, eventually like they just, that mercy period kind of went by, and then I was still posting about all the DEWs and everything, and the technology and the Zersetzung and the organised stalking and all that, and yeah, eventually you end up with no likes. You end up befriending a few other TIs, and then the normies really do fade away from you then, or they unfollow you or whatever it is. But yeah, it's just not worth it in my opinion. Like, I've said my bit. I probably threw away too many pearls there when I should have made YouTube things, but you know, I was banned from YouTube, or suspended about 4 years ago. Pretty much straight after the targeting. I guess they wanted to make sure I, you know, go for the full-blown alienation. Oh man, it's a cheeky little duck, this one. So yeah, that banning. Oh, he's gone up there again. Come on, ducky, wanna hop up again? Up. So when they banned me, it was just a straight out banning. It wasn't any strikes. It was just like, boom, you're banned. I think it was because I made a bunch of comments in one mainstream video, and it was truther comments. I can't really elaborate, but it was a German painter who was really angry about a long time ago, and I made some posts about how his book was not authentic. It had been modified against his will, and that was enough to do it, I think. Multiple reports, of course, and it's like boom, 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 and then like goodbye account. Oh, look at this little duckling. See, this guy here is a potential taker homer, because he's not looking too good. He's looking quite stressed. Hey, no, break it up, ducky. Break it up. He's gonna fly. Are you gonna fly, buddy? Fly into my arms, my love. Oh. Sorry. Probably sounding a bit cringe, eh? It's just my inner child wailing with joy. Let's see a little duck, like that happy. Oh, this little duckling, eh? He's trying to get up onto the rock. I'll come back for those ones and see how they're doing later, because I don't think that was the mother there. So yeah, I think it's time to get back off the Facebook. It's just it just adds to the aggravation, really. Like, just seeing no one else, like, well, yeah, pretty much very, very few people speaking out about anything. At least people I used to know. I've added a few truthers, you know, to the friend list, and you see their posts. Many of them are the sort of shared generic stuff. You don't see very few at all, like speaking from the heart, you know, like throwing caution to the wind and just having some epic fucking public soliloquy or whatever. Yeah, I quite like just letting fly and having an emotional fucking speech or something.